The viewpoint and attitude of Lifechanyuan towards euthanasia are as follows. Living a life is extremely difficult, and few can smoothly reach the end of life and die peacefully. Most people either die young or suffer from diseases until death, or die in natural disasters, or end their lives due to life or emotional pressures, or die in turmoil and wars, or die from hunger, thirst, heat, cold, or in car accidents, etc., making it difficult to complete life's journey satisfactorily. The most ideal way to end life's journey is to die peacefully in one's sleep without illness or difficulties. Another way is through the Transcendence through meditation method, which involves choosing one's own death date and then entering meditation to end the earthly journey. However, these two methods are not easily mastered by the general public. Sleeping in bed and never waking up again is a benefit that only those with great fortune can enjoy, while the Transcendence through meditation method requires long-term cultivation and practice, which is not easily achieved by ordinary people. So, is there another relatively ideal way of dying for the general public? Yes, there is. That is, euthanasia. The common explanation for euthanasia refers to stopping treatment or using drugs for incurable patients, allowing them to die painlessly. Lifechanyuan's explanation is, anyone who does not wish to continue the journey of life and voluntarily wants to end their life should be granted euthanasia. People should have the right to decide their own life paths. In fact, the vast majority of people are kidnapped by reality, environment, and relatives, living passively rather than actively. We should grant everyone the right to self-select and determine their own lives. Anyone who is over 18 years old and has lost hope in life, willing to end their life, should be given euthanasia. Regardless of the circumstances, as long as there is a will to live on, no matter how old they are or what their physical condition is, they should be treated, given energy and hope, and allowed to live on. How long is long enough for a person to live? Is living for 100 years enough? Is 1,000 years enough? In fact, from a normal perspective, even living for 1,000 years is not enough. Eternal life is every person's wish. However, life is a brief journey of a soul on earth, and eventually, everyone has to say goodbye to life. No matter how much you cling to life, parting is inevitable. Since parting is inevitable, it's better to choose the most appropriate time to say goodbye. Isn't euthanasia just another form of goodbye? Why must we cling to it? Arrange everything leisurely, say goodbye gracefully, and bid farewell lightly. It's certainly better than ending life in regret, remorse, anxiety, and fear, perhaps without even having the chance to bid farewell to loved ones. Of course, the majority of people will not agree with Lifechanyuan's viewpoint on euthanasia, and only those in extreme despair will gladly accept it. Some may ask, should we really perform euthanasia on a healthy, bright, and promising 19-year-old who requests it? That's absurd. It's cruel. Of course, many people believe that euthanasia should not only be voluntary by the individual but also require the consent and signature of relatives. Otherwise, it's murder. Hold on, please ask. Around 1 million people commit suicide globally each year. Do their relatives consent and sign before they commit suicide? Probably not, right? So, why do we need others' consent for voluntary euthanasia? If one must obtain consent from relatives before committing suicide, is it still possible to commit suicide? Of course, such euthanasia requires legislation. A public covenant is needed, otherwise, it would be difficult and should not be implemented. What I want to say is, we can hardly imagine how many people are living in extreme pain and despair in this world. How many have already felt tired of living and are living impatiently, but because they are kidnapped, they have to continue living reluctantly. Also, for some people, if they continue to live, they will only suffer and be tormented, such as those who have been lying in hospital beds for a long time, unable to be cured, or incurable. They need to decide for themselves whether they are willing to accept euthanasia. This does not need consent from relatives. Now that technology is advanced, one's will and words can be recorded on video. That is, anyone who voluntarily accepts euthanasia must express their true feelings without any oppression, coercion, or kidnapping, and record everything on video. Without this video, euthanasia should not be performed. If young people wish for euthanasia, their relatives might say, "You are too selfish." Please ask, who is more selfish? Is the young person who wishes for euthanasia more selfish, or are their relatives more selfish? In fact, I have thought about it. If euthanasia and end-of-life care were implemented by Lifechanyuan, at least half of those who wish to commit suicide would give up the idea of suicide, saving 500,000 people each year. By the way, it is best to arrange the post-euthanasia, according to the Lifechanyuan funeral system. In the world, the more open things are, the easier and simpler they become. The more restricted they are, the more difficult and complicated they become. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Consider checking important information.